Episode 13, Jealousy.
Jealousy. Got it nice and smoky in here. I don't know why. We don't vape or anything.
Nope.
Not us. Not us. So yeah, Demons Within episode 13. Today is NFL Sunday kickoff, hence the G-Men. Speaking of expectations or premeditated resentments, that's like being a Giants fan. It's being any football fan. Every year, kickoff, week one, high hopes. Ends in despair. Ends in resentment. Ends in bitterness. Ends in sorrow. So, yeah.
I don't follow sports.
No, you don't, Peter. You sure don't. You watched the Little League World Series?
Yes, I did. That brings you back to the day. Jeff Brown, you shouldn't have made that error on third.
Yeah, Jeff, you isn't. I know Brown.
He's getting paranoid. I'm coming after him now.
Maybe you are.
Maybe
you never know, Jeff Brown. Lock your doors. So how you doing, Peter?
Good guy. You?
I'm doing good. I finally feel better. I had, as you know, I had this like infection in my face.
Yeah.
For a week, and I was laid up. I couldn't do anything. I had body aches. I had fever. My face got swollen as fuck, and they just don't know what it is. It's good now. Like I'm better. They gave me mad antibiotics, but it was preposterous. I looked like Don Corleone. I had like I was like, hey Peter, how you doing there on the day of my daughter's wedding? You know. So that's what happened with that. But yeah, that sucked. I couldn't work out. I couldn't do anything. But I'm back on the grind. Posted a workout video today. Absolutely savage. There's nothing better than coming off a layoff. I mean, I didn't miss a workout since November 9th of 2022. And I've meticulously planned my workouts and my diet.
Yeah.
I do my own programming. So having that much time, like laid up in bed, that was terrible for my mental health. I was ready to rip my face off, which I wanted to anyways because it hurt so bad with the freaking cheek swollen.
Yeah. You were talking about working out. I was just envisioning the 10 cookies with whipped cream I ate right before I came here.
You look good, though. You look good, Pete. Your body needs that.
I've gained 10 pounds since Florida.
Nah, it's water weight, Peter. Yeah. It's water weight. Speaking of Florida, like I was Googling, like I was convinced that I accidentally got some of that warm Florida coastal water up my nostril, and I had a flesh-eating bacteria virus. Well, it can't be a bacteria and a virus, but a flesh-eating bacteria. Yeah. I thought I was going to have my face taken off like Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent. You know what that is?
No.
That's
I'm just shaking my head like I do.
That's Two-Face and Batman. But I actually, real quick, I want to just say, so next week's episode is the week that the book releases. It's going to come out September 17th. The book comes out September 19th. So for the news segment of that podcast, we're going to talk about the big news, which is the book, the biggest news since Pearl Harbor, the book. But I do want to just address something quick because, I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's also not. So as of right now, I would say about 10 people have read the book, the unedited pre-release manuscript, and they're all friends and family. And I would say with the exception of Peter and my parents, the three people who know pretty much everything about me. I mean, Pete knows more than anyone because he ran with me back in the day. Andy knows about all the other stuff that I went through and put people through. But so besides those three, the rest of them, like they think the book's an autobiography.
Oh, I forgot you were going to mention this.
Yeah, because in I might have misled people. In early drafts of the book, it did have the first page said elements of this story are based on a true story.
Yeah.
But really, the only things that are accurate is the thoughts and feelings that Bill had as he's spiraling with alcoholism, the anger, the resentment, the loneliness, the isolation, the bitterness. And that's something that I would say probably every alcoholic has. And then the character himself is actually based on this guy that I was with at St. Christopher's. Even like his mannerisms, and Bill calls people mutts.
Yeah.
He's like, you fucking mutts. I got that from this guy. The guy was just a savage. So as far as like the physical appearance and his mannerisms and the way he talks, those are based on that guy. But I can say with like absolute certainty that not a single interaction Bill has with anybody in the book is something that I did. And I don't want to minimize my behavior when I was drinking though, because it's sort of a fine line. Like I obviously did some deplorable shit, but like nothing that Bill does in the book are things that I did. And even like I know I mentioned that the character of Jenny, his ex-wife, like there was some stuff about her that was inspired from my ex-girlfriend and even other ex-girlfriends. But even that, like Not really. You know, like she's a completely fictionalized character that I came up with. Maybe like her strength. I got that from my ex. The only thing I can think of is there's a scene where Bill comments on how good she looks in her Fleo leggings. And that's something that I definitely can relate to with my ex. I used to love when she wore them to the point, like, I mean,
what are they? Neil leggings?
Fleo leggings.
Oh.
Like, it's the point, like, I mean, I'm doing well with getting over that. I came to a groundbreaking conclusion on last week's episode, but like, if she walked by me in the Fleo leggings, I'd be back to square one. Back to square one. So
I don't know what those are.
they're just good leggings, very form fitting. It's like the butt and the legs and the thighs.
Oh,
I can't even.
Those are amazing.
Yeah, they're the best. Whoever invented them deserves a Nobel Peace Prize because they just make everyone happy.
I know I'm gonna have like 3 daughters.
Oh yeah.
I just can't. Some of the things these people wear.
Yo, remember, like, we went to the track. Remember some of the, like, you don't know what to do. I don't know where to look. I don't know if it's like, how old are you? 13 probably. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But that's a topic for a different day.
That's a topic definitely for a different day.
So I don't know, you want to get into these news stories? We've got a couple interesting news stories before we get into the jealousy topic for the day.
Do you want to talk about the chat box or?
Yeah, let's do the chat one first. And as always, I find these news stories, I read the headlines, barely look them over, and then send them to Peter, and he reads them. A lot of pressure.
No, me? Oh.
Just kidding.
Oh, no. Chatbox and AI are changing mental health care. Beware. Really, the article is about people being able to use artificial intelligence like ChatGPT as their therapist. And because when you use ChatGPT, it gathers information on you and knows the right things to say for specific problems. So if you're talking to it consistently, it starts to get to know you, and you can ask it personal questions, and it'll give you advice right there and then. And the problem with therapists nowadays is that they're humans. They can be biased, racist. They could be going through problems. They have to eat, sleep. AI doesn't have any of that. It's always up 24 hours. It can always answer your questions. But yeah, that's And it talks about, really, the conclusion of it is there should be a fine line. You should definitely seek in-person therapy, and also, use artificial intelligence for mental health. And that's kind of the conclusion of the article.
Yeah, and I think like a big thing with that, like most of the AI chat GPT and all that stuff out now, it wasn't designed for mental health or therapy.
Yeah.
So I think what they're going to do, they should definitely start researching this technology that's specifically designed for mental health therapy.
Yeah.
Because it's just another tool in the toolbox. It's like you can always use that human perspective. I mean, you always need a human perspective to a degree, but like you said, a chat GPT or just a AI therapist in a way. I mean, if it's 1 a.m. and you're feeling like you need to talk or you need some advice, just hit up the old AI bot.
Yeah, there's a company, I don't know the name of it because I can't fucking spell. I mean, I can spell, but I can't read. It's WYSE. It's an AI like therapy app.
Cool.
I'm gonna check it out, actually.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I maybe put some info on the screen.
But yeah, that's US.
Yeah, it's just interesting. My thing too, though, it's like, because both of us, sometimes our brains go to the worst, and I'm just waiting for like the Terminator, Skynet, like the AI takeover of the world, destroying the human race.
Well, so, I've actually used it.
Oh, yeah.
I've used it for therapy.
Have you?
Oh, 100%, man.
That's good.
I've typed in, I typed in like person. I'm not going to get into it because then you're going to think like, so, but I'll type in and I'll ask it questions, and it gives you advice. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, that is very interesting. And yeah, like I said, it just probably just get a little more research. But then, like, you also got to look at it. Like, I know you've been getting canceled on by your therapist.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and so that's a lot. I mean, ChatGPT is not going to cancel on you unless if your internet's down, you're kind of fucked. But
that's the thing; it never goes to sleep.
Yeah, it never goes to sleep. Just like us when we used to do GIF.
Not me.
Not you. Yeah. Speaking of doing GIF, it's like how did I go for decades of like punishing my body, sniffing things up my nostril, and I don't get a facial infection?
Yeah.
And after not doing that stuff for a long time,
You
God's
get
like, hey,
infected.
let me make your cheek swollen with a mystery virus or flesh-eating bacteria.
I wonder if you could have gotten it from the ocean.
I probably could have.
You
I don't
know,
know.
I'm
I should
curious.
ask ChatGPT.
Yeah. you
Like, how the fuck did my face get like this, bot?
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
funny.
know. That's just God. God works in mysterious ways, no matter what your higher power is. Just a mystery thing.
Mystery time.
So yeah, interesting stuff, Peter.
Yes, sir.
Let's go on. Let's hit up the next one.
Yeah.
I can talk about this one.
Okay.
So the next one, we have like 1 million papers on the desk today
Yeah.
because we're like, we're just very smart.
Yeah.
We like to read papers.
Yeah. Papers Greg did.
Yeah. I'm using all. I don't own a printer, but my parents do, and I just use all their paper. Like, hey, Julie, the ink's getting low. What are you printing out? I didn't do nothing. I don't do nothing. I'm a modern day man. I use like digital stuff.
Job.
Psych. Jibbity job. So this one, it says we can't ignore our dad's mental health even if they try to. And this is something that I really advocate for because it's just like, especially previous generations, our generation's coming around a little bit, but men just would not seek help when they needed it. You were told growing up, it's like men don't need help. Men, you suck it up.
Yeah.
You rub some dirt on it.
Man up.
Yeah, you man up. Or what a lot of times would happen, you have a drink.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I did think it was interesting. Some of the stats on here, some of the words me and Pete didn't even know either. Perinatal. Don't know what that means. But I guess there was a survey of dads that was conducted, and only a slight majority of dads are comfortable feeling and expressing emotions. So it was something like 57%.
57% was.
That's insane because everybody has emotions, and when you don't feel them, I mean, they're called feelings because they're meant to be felt.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel those and you bottle them up, that's when problems happen. It's like there used to be the ideal man was like the John Wayne type, Gary Cooper. I think that's what they said in The Sopranos.
Gary Cooper, yeah, it is. It is.
And that's just very stoic. Not to be confused with stoicism, which does not tell you not to feel emotions. It just tells you to understand your emotions and to understand that external things are out of your control. So I do think our generation, though, it's been sort of drilled into our head as a little bit more, or at least the younger generation, that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to not be this manly man. Because that's definitely a thing.
I just had deja vu.
Would you have deja vu?
I don't know. I just felt like
It's probably because I always talk about the same things.
I think the number in here, which is pretty interesting, it says like 15% of men will have a mental illness in their lifetime.
Yeah, and probably only like 5% will get help for it.
Well, yeah, it's 57%. Right?
Yeah, well, yeah, so less, like a little bit more than half.
Yeah,
which is sad. I mean, the thing is, and this is how I was, it's a lot easier for a man to just say, fuck it. Like, fuck it, I'll deal with this shit, instead of a man saying, I'm hurt, or I am in pain.
100%.
It's just so much easier to do that. And that was always my problem. My problem was saying, fuck it, I'm going to man up, and not accepting my pain and not dealing with my pain. And that actually sort of not being able to acknowledge pain because I felt like that was a weakness. That was a weak trait. That led to a lot of things like the topic of this episode, which is jealousy. Because not accepting your pain, you can't process it. And that pain or whatever it is, those negative emotions, they build up inside you and they create this like vortex of negativity. And that can lead to insecurity. And insecurity is the basis of jealousy.
Yeah. That was
jealousy.
Good.
Thanks, Peter. So yeah, jealousy is poison. But the only thing is you're only poisoning your own soul, I mean, a lot of people, and there's a difference between jealousy and envy, which I'll get into, but a lot of people spend so much time being jealous or envious of other people that they are completely blind to the things they actually have. And once that starts, it's like the pebbles that lead to the avalanche, avalanche of despair that for people like you and me, alcoholics, people who have some mental health issues in the past, it leads to drinking. It leads to covering it up. Because I don't really know a jealous person who's not also an angry person. They just go hand in hand. So much of my irrational anger in arguments I've started with people, it was bred from jealousy.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know, there is a difference. I wrote down here that jealousy and envy, they both mean like covetous, meaning you covet something that someone else has, but only jealousy can be used to mean possessively suspicious.
That's the name of that word?
Covetous.
Covetous.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really only know that word from the 10 Commandments, like thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. But
sorry.
So it's like jealousy, there's a possessive element with jealousy, whereas envy it's disconnected from that, and it's more longing for something that someone else has. And jealousy is most often about insecurity, where envy is just about wanting what someone else has.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you've never been a jealous person,
no,
but I'm sure you've definitely had some envy. You know, you've been envious of what some of these other people might have accomplished. But at the same time, I think, so in this episode, it's like, this is one of my character defects, but not so much one of Pete's.
Yeah.
Because I actually think the way you would handle envy is motivation.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think that actually when I was jealous and had some envy was when I was drinking.
Yeah.
That's probably heavy, when I was hitting rock bottom.
Yep.
But besides that, no, I'm definitely not a jealous person or envious of people. I kind of just focus on me.
Yeah. No, that's one of the best things to do. Focus on A, what you have, and B, what you want, but not wanting it because somebody else has it.
Yeah.
So like I would never really be jealous. So like a conventional and common form of jealousy for men is like jealous that their girl is talking to another guy, something like that. I would never have that. I was always confident in myself, and also I trusted my girlfriends when it came to
Really? You didn't get mad when other guys were talking to your girl?
No.
In high school?
Oh, in high school, yeah. High school doesn't count. High school, my brain was still forming. Yeah, you're right. But I wouldn't get mad at my girl, though. I'd get mad at the guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's why I don't know if it was jealousy, but it definitely was like a form of possessiveness, which is a form of jealousy.
Yeah.
But I never, like if a guy was talking to my girl, I wouldn't think my girl was going to cheat on me, but I'd be like, that guy wants my girl. And then I'd confront him. And it causes a lot of problems. A lot of people getting stuffed in lockers and wedgies.
Yeah.
A lot of wedgies.
Shit.
But like my jealousy would be so strange. Like I would be jealous of like, just like, I remember like when I was dating a girl in college, she lived in Long Island. Like I'd be jealous that she was in Long Island. It's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. I mean,
Long Island was dope though, because everyone we knew was
all
there.
our friends were down there, but still, like that's just a crazy thing to be jealous about. Or like I remember. So
how'd you express that jealousy?
Anger. Just get pissed off, irrationally pissed off, bitter, accusatory of what? Yeah, it's your fault that your parents live in Long Island, so you were born there and live there. How come I don't? So I don't even know if that's envy or not. The thing is, I wasn't envious.
Yeah.
It's just like this weird jealousy. So jealousy is really just an expression of insecurity.
Yeah.
A lot, in my opinion, and I think it's a pretty common opinion amongst like professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard to be jealous when you're not insecure. Like when you're secure about yourself. And that was always an issue I had in various avenues of my life. I wasn't insecure about everything. Yeah. Not at all. I was very secure in a lot of things, but there were some things that I was insecure about. And those insecurities manifest in jealousy. And that's just, it's pathetic in a way. It's sad and pathetic, especially if you let it get the best of you. If you don't turn it into motivation and you don't recognize it, then it's going to cause problems. Yeah. I can't think of one interpersonal relationship on any level, whether it's a work relationship, a romantic relationship, family relationship, friend relationship. If you start putting jealousy in the middle of that relationship, there will be problems. You never hear about, that couple, they're so jealous, they just have the best life. You just don't hear that. And that's because of insecurity. I'm trying to think of an example, but the only one that comes to mind is like, so when I was dating my ex and I would go to the CrossFit, mm-hmm. I was very insecure because I was a weightlifter, you know, I worked out, I had years of experience, and I had a lot of things that I was really good at, like very impressive numbers. But there's things in CrossFit that if you've never done them and you don't work on them, like gymnastics things, you're not going to be good at them.
Yeah.
So I would go work out with her like a couple times a month, and all her friends were like the best ones at her gym too.
Mm-hmm.
And I would feel jealous that they were doing like all these high skilled moves, and I couldn't do them.
Yeah.
And I would feel jealous. And instead of just using that, first of all, I just shouldn't have cared because that's not something I was interested in.
Yeah. And you're new at it.
And I was new at it. And I didn't even want to work at it.
Yeah.
But the jealous part in me was like, I'm insecure about not being able to do these things.
Interesting.
So then I would get jealous. Then I would get mad, and I would like shut down. And it was just crazy because that
shut down.
Yeah, I just like wouldn't talk. I'd get mad like after the workout.
Yeah.
And the fact is though, because like I said, when you're in the throes of jealousy, you're blind to the things you're actually good at.
Yeah.
So instead of me being proud of my strict press or my bench press or my squat or my deadlift or even like on the assault bike, I was a beast.
Yeah.
Instead of just being proud of those, I would just get jealous of the fact that I couldn't do a ring muscle up or I couldn't do double unders, which are things that
just sound hard.
They are hard. And the fact is, I mean, very few people can walk into a gym for the first time and do either of those things.
Yeah.
It takes years for most people. And I was even getting like mad positive feedback. This one guy, Shane, who's an absolute monster, a beast. He's my size, but he can do all the gymnastics shit. Like he's a savage. He even told me, he was like, bro, it would probably take you 3 weeks to get a muscle up. And still, instead of just taking that compliment as like it's very reassuring and it's a nice thing to say.
You still got angry?
I still was like, why can't I do it now? And I wanted to do it now. And that even ties back to instant gratification.
100%.
The problem of alcoholics and addicts is that instant gratification. It's like you need instant gratification. What's one way to get that? Well, the bottle. Turn to the bottle. And delayed gratification is the most satisfying gratification because it means that you put in the work. It means you didn't give up because not everything can be done in a day. And all your dreams, all your goals, I mean, it's going to take time. And the only way that you're not going to reach them is if you quit, is if you bitch, is if you get all jealous, you know?
Say it.
Jibbity job and the jobby stabbing.
Job. I got nothing to say, Greg.
I know I talk the most anyways. I'm just a talk guy. I'm a talk guy. I'm a big talker. But like this is, like I said earlier, this is more affected me.
I think one thing that you said that is good is try to turn your jealousy into motivation.
Yeah.
Because jealousy does fuel you. Mm-hmm. And if you're able to put that into something with good use, you'll succeed. You just got to be consistent.
Yeah. And you got to, if you start to feel jealousy or envy, if you got to recognize it, and then you got to take action, healthy action. You don't get pissed off. And that's the thing. You got to also think, is this something that I'm jealous of, envy of? Is it like something I legitimately want? Or am I just being like bitter and resentful and jealous?
Yeah.
So if you're just being bitter or resentful or jealous, then I'm going to talk about some ways to deal with it. But if it's something you actually want, go get it. Mm-hmm. Get after it. Put in the work. You know?
Yeah.
It's really the only thing. Like hard work pays off. It's not just a saying.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah. So
now we're going to state the ways to deal with it.
Yeah, I made a list of some ways to deal with it.
I like the first one that you put, practicing gratitude. Just thinking if you were envious about someone and then, realizing that you have a bed and a pillow to sleep on,
Yeah.
Just those things we take for granted. And I think that's just a really good first thing that you wrote.
Yeah. No, and because I do think that's the biggest. Gratitude is the way out of a lot of stuff. And that's why I was saying too, like many times I've said so far that like when you're really deep in jealousy or envy, you just completely neglect the things you have.
Yeah.
100%. So that's why practicing gratitude every day is crucial. It's also, I mean, if you go to any rehab or institution or AA or therapy, they will hammer into your head gratitude.
Really?
Because it allows you to foster contentment with what you have.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, there's another jealousy that I had that a lot of people have, especially when they're in recovery, early on in recovery, is you're jealous of people who can drink normal.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. And that actually
isn't that the truth?
And that's one of the biggest difference between now when I've been doing so well.
Yeah.
In the previous time. Like I've said many times, I tried to stop drinking on my own a bunch. And then it just, whatever, I just always went back into it. And then there was one other legitimate attempt where I went out to Pittsfield. But that whole time I was going to AA and I was doing very well. It's when I met my ex and we started building a good life together. But that entire time I still wished I could drink like a normal person. Now I don't give a fuck. If you can drink like a normal person, that's awesome for you. But it's something I just don't care about. It's not something I'm jealous or envious of. I just don't care, because what I do care about is the things I have. And what I have is a platform now to spread a message. I can write novels. I can do so much stuff to live a purposeful life. I can go to parties. I can be around social functions and not have anxiety about not drinking or not wishing I could have a cocktail.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of that, is gratitude and finding purpose in life.
Good for you.
Thanks, Peter.
I still have. I going to a party and seeing other people drinking. Still make me a little bit anxious.
Yeah. I mean, it takes time though. That's why, like, you're doing so well and you just got to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to fill your life, like you fill your life with your purpose.
Yep.
That's huge. But I mean, even still to this day, like I don't put myself in situations where it's just like if I'm not going like to a bar crawl just to hang out with my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. You got to avoid things like that. But for the most part, I mean, maybe occasionally I have some mild social anxiety, but I just, whatever. I just try not to think about it. But I really don't miss it. I do not miss it. I mean, and
it always makes me curious though, because I see the people drinking. I'm like, how do they do that?
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's just always curious.
Well, and there's even people that we used to party with back in the day who were doing just as much as us, and they still could just turn it off.
Yeah.
That's something that I just couldn't do, and I know you couldn't do it either. Like there's some of the people we ran with back in the day who would party just as hard as us. They just stopped. They have families now, good jobs. And I just don't, like, for me and you, and it's just not compatible. Yeah. I just can't do it.
Yeah, that's great.
So let's see the next one. So the next one I said was empathize with the person that we are jealous of to reduce feelings of envy or resentment. So, I mean, this is more just sort of put yourself in their place. Yeah. And that could be in any situation. I mean, even if it's like, if you're like the person who's jealous of your significant other talking to people of the opposite sex, it's like, well, your significant other probably is just a nice person, like a social person. Yeah. I mean, unless there's a shit ton of actual warning signs that this person is cheating on you, I mean, it's definitely harmless. It's like, and that goes for anything. I mean, even like the stuff I was talking about at the gym, it's like I got to realize and recognize that these people put in years of work to get good at it. Okay. And it's also having confidence in knowing that, like, I'm sure if I did that, I could do the same things.
That's interesting.
But empathy goes a long way for a lot of things.
Yeah, because I was kind of guessing what you meant by empathize. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, maybe it was, empathize wasn't the best word. I mean, it still plays, but maybe more just like put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, that's good.
And really like look at the situation from like from their perspective. And the vast majority of the time it's harmless. Yeah. It's definitely harmless. Yep. Let's see what the next one says, Peter.
Cultivate self-compassion by treating ourselves with kindness, understanding, and forgiveness.
Yeah, so that's like I said, if you're feeling jealous and envious, you got to recognize it and you have to do something about it. But one thing you shouldn't do is don't beat yourself up over it. I mean, everybody, even the most secure person in the world, has felt at least some pangs of jealousy at some point in their life.
100%.
So and that goes with almost anything here. It's like everybody has character defects. My character defects led to alcoholism. Some people's character defects lead to like anorexia. Some people's character defects lead to workaholic, all sorts of stuff. So the thing is, you just can't beat yourself up because nobody's perfect, and life is about progress, not perfection. So as long as you recognize that you're starting to feel a wave of jealousy, just don't beat yourself up and just do something about it. Don't let it dictate your life.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you kind of block it out? Because in my situation, I kind of always put myself down. When I'm like, if I'm always putting myself down, how would you say I should not do that anymore?
Well, for that, I mean, it's tough, but I think the one thing
I'm a good businessman. Don't get it wrong.
He's a businessman.
I'm just asking a question.
Man. Now, I think it's like talk to somebody. Basically, every tip we normally give is a way, like positive affirmations. Write down a list of things that you're good at.
Yeah.
Write down a list of things.
That's good.
Just like plan, like, so if you have a goal that you haven't attained yet, do a little more work for that goal. Plan ways to get there. But really just don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Because everybody has bad days. Everybody feels all sorts of negative emotions. I just had to rip a burp.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit that out. See, I could beat myself up over the fact we're doing a podcast and I'm burping into the microphone. But burping is just a part of life. If you don't
burp made me think of, forget what I was going to say.
Yeah, so sorry, Pete.
Job,
Peter. So I really,
what is mindfulness? Yeah, read that one. Practice, you go.
Mindfulness is just being in the present moment, because the mind wanders, as we both know. It wanders to the past. It wanders into the future. It worries about the future. It worries or feels depressed about the past.
I thought mindfulness was, sorry, I interrupt you.
No.
I thought mindfulness was something to do with meditation.
Well, that meditation is a good way to find mindfulness.
Okay.
Because it's really just like, being aware of your thoughts and your feelings, and being aware that in the present moment, you're fine. You're actually fine. I mean, if you're not fine, you don't have time to worry about anything because you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you're like having a heart attack, you don't really have time to worry about the past.
Yeah.
Because you're having a heart attack. Now, I hope me saying that doesn't give you anxiety about having a heart attack.
But not after I went to the doctors yesterday. The doctor told me I wasn't doing my shots and I had a reoccurrence of my autoimmune. And I just found out that if I don't take my shots, the sac under my heart can get enlarged and I can die. And I've had this for 7 years and no one's told me this.
And that's the thing about that. The heart is the one place men don't want their sac to be bigger.
Yeah. Greg knew right away when it was.
Yeah. I couldn't pronounce it. It was like pericarditis, some shit. I still can't pronounce, but I knew what it was.
Yeah.
So mindfulness, basically, though, it is that. It's just being aware of the present moment and living in the present and just not allowing your feelings to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Because even jealousy, jealousy is not an affliction of the present. There's really no afflictions of the present for mental health.
Yeah, facts.
Jealousy, and envy, it's like you're thinking about something from the past that's pissing you off because you wish you had it, or you're feeling possessive about something. Something didn't go your way. So if you practice mindfulness, it can sort of take your thoughts off of that stuff, center yourself in the present. Don't get overwhelmed by your thoughts, your feelings, or your emotions, and just breathe and just realize that you're all right. You're okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you're fine. The next two I feel like are the same thing. So I'm going to skip them. I'll read them. But the next one was cultivating a spiritual mindset, developing inner peace and contentment, which again, that is mindfulness. I think saying the spiritual element, though, that's more like having some sort of higher power, just being in tune with nature. But it goes hand in hand. And even the next one, meditation, is a powerful tool for calmness, clarity, and managing negative emotions. That's again,
that's the same thing.
Yeah, that's mindfulness, because a lot of times, meditation and all that stuff, mindfulness, it's sort of like taking out the trash. It's like a temporary reprieve from the past and the future that's bogging you down.
Do you meditate?
Yeah, I do. And I like to start every morning with some type of meditation.
Yeah. Or
throughout the day. I've been pretty busy lately, and I haven't been feeling too crazy. Yeah. So it's but it's just something I definitely do.
Yeah.
And there's all different kinds of ways to meditate. You can find YouTube tutorials, just Google it. But it's like my form of meditation is focusing on my breath. It's one of the most simple forms of meditation. You take I'll do a 4-second inhale through my nose and an 8-second exhale out my mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'll just keep doing that and focusing on it. And after 30 seconds, I'm just totally in the moment, and my brain is clear for the most part.
Some good advice, Greg.
Oh, thanks, Peter. You want to read the next one? Well, the next one is also, I feel like so many of these are just the
prayer,
same thing.
Yeah, prayer can connect us with a higher power or divine energy providing comfort and guidance. I pray.
You do pray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to kneel when you pray?
No.
Or can you pray? I always feel guilty when I'm not kneeling.
No.
And I'm in my bed praying. I'm like, is God mad at me because I'm not kneeling while I'm praying?
No. God's a forgiving God. You know? And if he wasn't, then we're all fucked anyway. So
Oh my
who cares?
God. Yep.
But no, I get on my knees in the morning when I first wake up because, well, that's what my sponsor did. And that's what a lot of people did. And it is sort of humbling.
Yeah.
And it's also easy to do because I make my bed and then I just get on my knees and put my elbows on my bed.
Yeah.
But if throughout the day, if I'm checking in with my higher power, I don't just like get on my knees. Although that would be actually hilarious.
What?
If I'm just like in the grocery store and I start praying and I just drop to the knees and just start talking to God, I'd probably get arrested. Like there's that.
You said Walmart? Probably not Walmart.
Oh no, Walmart. I'd fit right in. Walmart is something.
Yeah.
A lot of mutants there. A lot of mutants.
When we were in Oneonta, I thought I saw one walk in with was a cyclops. He had like one eye in the middle.
Yeah.
It was like an Oneonta townie. It was so disgusting.
It was like the sloth from the Goonies.
Yeah.
Yo, remember that lady at the bank? Me and Pete had the same bank when we were at Oneonta.
I remember the ladies.
Well, that one lady was crazy.
Yeah.
She had like 3 teeth.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, Peter and Greg, taking out more money today? Because we would just like every day we'd have to go take out money. It's like we couldn't trust ourselves with ATM cards. So we'd have to go to Price Chopper or Walmart. I don't remember which one. Go to the bank. And they got to know us real well. And we were coming back every day. Like, what'd you spend all that money on, boys? No, nothing. Books.
Books.
Will's Bach.
I think I just didn't buy my books. I swear.
I don't think
I don't know how I passed college. I had a 2.1 GPA.
Yeah, you scraped by.
All right. That just shows you don't need a good college education to make it.
And that also just shows you that you should never quit because you can get by with a 2.1.
Hell yeah.
You can get by.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. The last one here, it says again, I don't know what I was thinking here. It's like I forgot midway through my list that I already said this shit because the next one says gratitude. So we already talked about that.
Yes,
so
we did.
I don't feel like talking about it anymore.
Today was a good episode, though.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I mean, it was definitely me airing out my issues because you're just not a jealous person. I'm jealous that you're not a jealous person, and I'm envious of the fact that you don't have jealousy.
Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome, Pete. But yeah, so I think that's all we got. It's go Giants. They're playing tonight against the Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. It's going to be devastating. I'm about to ask my therapist for like 1 Xanax because it's going to be bad. Besides that, Demons Within comes out 9 days from today.
Wow.
Well, 9 days from the day this episode releases, about 3 weeks from the day we're recording. And if you're watching this in the future, it's already out. So go fucking buy it and read it and then spam my email.
Job.
Yeah, you got anything else?
No, I'm good, buddy.
All right. Well,
You is.
Job.
Job.